Everyone thinks these teams just roll off the trucks ready to race, but to understand today, you need to understand their history. Things were not so slick and organized. They were barely holding it together.
What happened? How did we get here? Nobody knows. Nobody gets it, and the truth is, I know you don't give a shit anyway. You know, everybody just thinks that we just showed up here on the scene of drag racing, NHRA drag racing, and all of a sudden, you know, we're 16-time champ and we're millionaires. But what's really amazing, you look at some of these photos in my museum. My first Chevrolet crew cab, Silverado from Don Steed Chevrolet, pulling a chaparral trailer I bought from Joe Paisano. You look at this photo, I'm parked here because I kept my race car truck and trailer outside of the apartment that I lived in. I didn't want an apartment, I wanted to sleep in the truck. But you park it on the street at night and a street sweeper comes by and the cop's coming write you a ticket, move it. Look at this, for example. Here's my first trailer that I bought from Dorsey. But look at the crew. There's 3 of us working there, Roy Mayhews, Ted Schumacher, my brother Louie and me. There was 3 or 4 of us. There was no 12-man team. There was no, couldn't afford to feed them. But look at that trailer. Look at that big old crane coming out of that trailer, made out of heavy steel to put a motor in, because you had to have all that stuff. Now they carry, these young kids we got that are all muscle, carry these engines to put them into these cars. It's unbelievable how we evolved. And that trailer, we built sleeping quarters. We didn't go to hotels. We went to truck stops and bathed in there. And don't think sometimes that ain't scary. Look at that trailer packed with our motorcycle. It had our fishing poles, our barbells. But what's amazing is when you look at the trailer, it had the original hardwood floor that comes in a Dorsey. But it had a shower up front, it had a sleeping quarters. We lived in the thing, and it had an air conditioning unit. To look back and look at these big 18-wheelers lined up, it's like I own a trucking company, and I never could have imagined that. I look at 20 acres in Indy of land. I look at 5 acres here in California, and I look at all of this like, how did it happen? It was 40 years of blood, sweat, and tears, and that ain't no bull.
We're at the race shop at John Force Racing. There's a lot that goes on here behind the scenes that fans don't get to see at the racetrack. At the racetrack's a very brief description of what we do. Most of our work goes on here at the shop, where you know, we work a full 8 to 5 schedule, 5 days a week, and our work is never done.
Yeah, I think in 2005 we moved into the first building that John built, and basically it was just a race car shop. And then we grew it into a manufacturing facility to where we can control everything. You know, we can keep the quality control, keep any speed secrets, any kind of new technology to ourselves. What was happening before, we'd go to a cylinder head manufacturer and say, we want to try this. Well, Monday morning, you'd order a bunch more of those heads, and that cylinder head manufacturer knew that obviously was a better way to go. Well, now that technology went to all the other teams. Now we can keep it in-house, do everything ourselves. We work on safety there, and there's very little that we can't do in Indy.
Now we're in the main shop where we do most of our work. We pull our trucks and trailers in and unload. We have the Monster Energy Dragster driven by Brittany Force, the Advanced Auto Parts Funny Car driven by Courtney Force, the AAA Funny Car driven by Robert Height, and the Peak Funny Car driven by John Force.
We designed the shop in Indy to where you're working out of the race car just like you're working out of the pits at the track. Okay, so you're right on the side of the trailer, all the tools are there, everything you need in that trailer is right there, just like at the races.
Here at John Force Racing, we build almost everything in-house. Our engine program, built right in our own machine shop. Our chassis program, where we build chassis and mount those Chevrolet bodies, built right here at John Force Racing. We have a complete paint shop with PPG. It's a one-stop shop.
This is about the heart and soul of the shop. They make a lot of the parts and pieces we need to make it down the track. We also can create just about anything we want if we don't have it. So it's a very important piece to our racing over at John Force Racing.
The Fab Shop, it's amazing what they can build.
They mount our bodies for the funny cars and build our chassis as well, both dragster and funny car chassis. They also work a lot with carbon fiber on the bodies for the funny cars. They make stuff for the dragsters as well. Next is the paint shop. Every one of our bodies is painted here, and a decal room in the back where they make all the decals that you see on the cars.
We don't have to sit all night in paint shops anymore. We can do everything in-house. We used to have to go down and, be till midnight watching a car get painted and place the decals before they cleared it. Now we can do everything in-house and keep our own schedule.
And let's not forget about our history. Starting back in 1974, down under in Australia. You can see it all right here in our museums. And there's my Pontiac. That car was like the winningest car in drag racing history. Flamed, you know why we flamed it? I was always on fire every week. There's a Syntec car that Eric Medlin drove. Look at the car in the back. Superman. I beat the dragster in the Superman car. We beat, for $250,000, a no-bull shootout, we beat the dragster. Hey, the Christmas Grinch, boy, do you love that? The car right there was a tribute to Norwalk, 50 years of Norwalk racing, to the Bader family. That's my Air Force One car right there. Oh, there's one of my favorites. That's Ashley's car. I got a Harley Davidson given to me for my 10th championship from Harley Davidson. The Traxxas car out back that Courtney drove was the 100 to win for women in that Traxxas car. Brand Sorts dragster. Top Fueler right there. Here's a tribute car that I did for Jeff Gordon when he retired. Hope I can do one for Earnhardt. Jeff Gordon, number 24, Chevrolet. I'm so proud of that car, to have it in my museum. The fans love it. That was the peak car that I drive today. And then you fly back out of there and look down through here. It's unbelievable. We started in California. I'm a California boy. But we lived there in the middle of the country because that's the heart of racing. It's Indianapolis, where the Indy 500 is where our big Indy race is. It's the middle of the country. Now we can go either direction, to Seattle, to Denver, to Pomona, Brainerd, or we can go to the East Coast, Epping, New Hampshire, down to Gainesville, Houston, Texas, across the country, Reading, Pennsylvania. It's unbelievable. And get back home without at least a night's drive. Otherwise you never come home. How we got here, don't have a clue, but where are we gonna be 30 years from now? That's what I wanna see. I'm looking forward to this journey.